Let's start working on an auto logout functionality, so that if we have a token that expired because the user stayed in the app for more than 1 hour, he's automatically logged out. Now, one important word. Firebase also gives you this refresh token, which we saw earlier in the console log. We can still see it if we quickly do log in. Here on the response data, we got this refresh token. Unlike the ID token, this never expires, and you can always use that to send it to a specific API endpoint, one which you can find in the documentation, exchange a refresh token for an ID token, to get a new ID token. Now, this allows you to theoretically create an infinite session. This approach, of course, obviously is a bit less secure than when not using this refresh token. Because since the refresh token is valid forever, anyone with the refresh token can generate new ID tokens. One important word here though, of course it's not that easy to get the refresh token though. You store it in local storage, we'll do this in a second, and there you can only access it with cross-site scripting attacks, which Vue prevents by default. So it's less secure, but not insecure per se. Still, I won't use that refresh token thing here. You could, of course, implement it with the help of the documentation by sending it to this endpoint here and getting a new ID token. But for our needs here, the relevant thing is that the ID token alone, if we're not using the refresh token, will expire after 1 hour and can't be used anymore. So I want to implement some functionality which automatically logs the user out once the ID token became invalid. And we actually get the expiration time here as an argument in the response too. Right now it's always 3,600 seconds, but if that should ever change in the future, we could still work with it because we can extract it from the response. Now, this is the information we have. How can we now automatically log the user out? Let's move to our store. There we got our action where we log the user in, or where we sign the user up, where we get the token. And we need to set some timer here, which automatically dispatches an action once the time is over, once the data is invalid. So for that, I'll add a new action, maybe at the top, which I'll name set logout timer. Now in set logout timer, I will still pull out the commit method from this context object, and I will receive a payload, the expiration time, so the time until the token is invalid. Then in here, I'll call set timeout, and I will pass expiration time as a second value. However, that would be in seconds, but we need to measure this in milliseconds for set timeout. So I will multiply it with 1000. This will also automatically convert this string number to a real number. And then I want to execute this arrow function after this time period. In there, I simply want to commit logout. I want to log out once this time is over. Now, to be able to check this, I'll temporarily leave out the times 1000. So the 3600 will be used, which is 3.6 seconds. So we should quickly see if logout works. Now, of course, I need to dispatch set logout timer. So I'll do this from the login method. We can also pull out the dispatch method from this context object, as you already learned. And I will dispatch this here in the then block. I'll dispatch set logout timer. And I, of course, need to pass on response data expires in was the name of the property which holds this time. And the same in the sign up method. There I already have the dispatch method available. I need to call set logout timer here too and pass on res data expires in here too. With all that saved, let's go back and let's sign in our application. We should instantly be logged out, or not instantly, but after 3.6 seconds. So let's wait. Unknown mutation type logout. Well, there is a tiny problem. The mutation I want to execute is of course called clear auth data, but we could see that something happened there, so chances are high it'll work now. So let's log in again. Let's wait for this short time period again. And you see we were logged out. So with this, we added auto logout. Now let me go back and multiply this expiration time with 1000 again to turn this into milliseconds and therefore into the right value. And with that, we added auto logout. Now in the next lecture, let's have a look at auto login so that we also can persist a valid token across page reloads.